Well, hello. Haven't been making videos in a while. If you followed me on multiple channels, you know I moved across the country, don't have a house right now, so I don't have any projects. So I dug through the old archives and found a video that never made it to production. So if you're looking for something sexy, this ain't gonna be it. I'm gonna install this pivot glass door I got from Kohler. It's a Revel. If you're interested, I'll have it linked down in the description. And if you're in the market for a pivot glass door, this one is pretty solid. It's the most affordable I could find, and that glass is thick. It's almost too thick because it is hard to handle by yourself, as you'll see later. Anyways, back to the install. So I don't have the instructions that I use for the build. They come with the door. I don't have them anymore, so if you're looking for me to read off of that, that's not what this video is going to be. But if you're looking for a video guide, then I got just what you're looking for. So I started at the bottom with the threshold. This also holds your pivot piece and the guide for the stationary glass to sit in. As you can see me, that's the pivot piece that I'm putting on there. And then I'm going to break out the next piece, which is where your stationary glass sits in, slides in that track. And then you have one more piece that is the spacer for the threshold. On the opposite end, same thing, another spacer, just slide it on. Then you're gonna take some 100% silicone and you're gonna silicone that bad boy down. Be generous, this is the only thing that's gonna hold this in place other than the weight of the door, but you don't want it moving around. Put it directly on that silicone you just laid and then keep it on those reveal lines that you drew initially. That'll keep it straight. And a tip for this, put some painter's tape on it, hold it in place until that silicone sets up. While that's drying, we'll work on the top pivot point and the fixed panel jamb. So we'll break the top pivot point out of the packaging it came in, and then the fixed panel jamb, which is that piece there, and then we'll fasten them together. They supply you with a hex style wrench to tighten these down, but it was a pain in the rear. So I went ahead and broke out my impact driver. It is a number 2 bit to fasten these because I could not get it tightened by hand. It's almost like you're self-tapping them. Anyways, now that my man card's been revoked, you're going to take that piece you just made, put it on the wall, and then make sure that thing is straight up and down. I use a laser level here, which if you don't have a laser level, you should because they're awesome. But if you don't, you can just use a standard level. Once you're happy with it, go ahead and grab that painter's tape again, tape it in place, and then you're going to use a pencil, marker, whatever you have handy, and mark each of the mounting holes in that bracket. Once it's all marked up, you're going to pull that tape and remove the bracket altogether, grab a bit. In my case, I have the fiberglass shower, so I'm using a masonry bit. I don't know if that's what's recommended, but it worked. So if that's what you have, you can use that. It did try to walk on me at first, so you just got to apply some pressure. One thing I didn't get on video here is I actually applied blocking since I had access to the wall on the backside. It was unfinished room. I applied some blocking because there is a lip there. Just because that shower door was so heavy, I wanted to give it a little more strength. So I did apply some extra blocking back behind each of the mounting holes, which there should be 6 of them total. You have 7 holes on the mounting bracket, but you only use 6 because it is a reversible shower bracket. So if you needed to use it on the right side, you would flip it over. Next up is this piece that just slides right into the channel you just installed. All it does is snap right into place and hides all the screws that you just installed. This little guy just works for the door pivot, just sits right in place. Next up, you're going to measure from the wall to your bracket hole on both top and bottom, and that's going to tell you where to place your clamps onto the glass. So you'll have to loosen these up and then clamp them into place. Subtract a little bit, that way obviously you can get your swing on your door and it doesn't hit the fiberglass on the other side. By the way, make sure your glass is facing the correct way. There is like a Rain-X coating on one side. Make sure that is going in. It may not look that heavy, but I assure you it was. And I had already picked up one of these glass doors from Lowe's that was shattered, so I was super nervous about breaking this thing. Next up, fastening that top pivot point in place. The bottom one is held by gravity. The top one, you'll put this screw in it so it doesn't walk out. If you need to adjust the clamps on the glass, this is a good time to do it. Just get it to that right position for the stop so it's not too far away that it lets water out, but it's not too close that it binds up when you try to open it. I use my laser level again here for this, and then it just sticks right to the wall. By the way, if you do have to adjust the clamps, make sure you put something under that far edge of the glass. If you loosen that top one, that glass will drop. It is very heavy. So that's what I use this foam board for, is to hold up that far edge. Onto the water deflector. So it just clips on to the bottom of the door. There's a hard plastic piece. That piece is required to deflect the water back in. There is an optional door sweep that slides into it. Nobody wants wet feet, so just go ahead and put it on there. Next, it's time for some more silicone. You're going to load up the channel that you installed previously with that silicone, and you're going to put the stationary glass in place using that silicone to secure it in place. Same thing with this glass. Ensure that Rain-X coating is on the inside of the shower. And then put some tape on it just to hold it into place until that silicone dries. Onto the home stretch. So this was another huge selling point for me, was these shower handles. Super high quality, all metal construction, and they just look good. That's the most important thing, right? Side note, this little screwdriver kit from Harbor Freight that's like $5 is one of the most handy tools to have around the house. You need it all the time for so much little stuff that you don't think about. Well, that's it. I didn't get a very good video of the final product, and I moved, so I don't know. Fight me.